You're listening to Travel Tales with Fergal.
There's so much variety, and it is a great destination if you wanted to try a bit of everything, like have like a jam-packed morning of adventure and then slow it down for the afternoon, take it easy, have a food experience, have a nice long leisurely lunch, go for a stroll by the river shore or whatever it may be. There's something for everyone.
Hi, my name is Fergal O'Keefe and you're very welcome to the podcast. You just heard the voice there of my very special guest, Triona O'Mahony from Munster Vales, which is the tourism brand for the 5 mountain ranges in the area that I live. So this is a very personal podcast today as Triona talks to us about some of the most spectacular scenery, outdoor amenities and historical tourist sites in all of Ireland to coincide with the 5th anniversary of the setting up of the Munster Vales Tourism Initiative. For details and itineraries, check their website munstervales.com. I'm excited now to share this chat with you as we discuss this beautiful part of Ireland that I live in and love so much. Hi Triona, you're very welcome to the podcast.
Hi Fergal, thanks very much for having me on. It's an honour.
So you just recently did a brand new logo in the stunning Cashel Palace, the launch for that. So what was the idea behind that, about the new logo?
Yes, so Munster Vales was officially launched 5 years this October 2022. So we wanted to signify that anniversary by kind of freshening up our logo, giving it a new look. So we designed a lovely new logo that kind of is really defines what Munster Vales is. It has if you see on our website and our social media, it still has the M and the V, which represent Munster Vales and the mountains and the valleys. We're really happy with it.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. It does cover it. And you mentioned about the mountains there. So just for people, outside of Ireland and also within Ireland who don't know Munster Vales and what area that covers, because it is a huge area. So could you tell us, what area does Munster Vales cover?
So it covers part of North Cork, East Limerick, South Tipperary and West Waterford. So it spans across 4 counties and it covers 5 mountain ranges. So the idea first came about to set up Munster Vales about 7 years ago because the tourism businesses within these mountain ranges saw the Wild Atlantic Way taking off and all the support that they were receiving from Fáilte Ireland, and they felt, wait a minute, we've got great products here but we've no representation. So the communities and the businesses went to their local development companies and Fáilte Ireland and the local authorities, and they all saw the merit in setting up a brand to represent this group of tourism businesses. So that's where Munster Vales first came from, and I suppose it really is all about the mountain ranges and the businesses and the activities, the crafts, the garden, the heritage, everything that is encompassed within this area, and putting it on a platform and telling the world what we have to offer and trying to entice them in to visit us here.
And as someone who lives here in the middle of the Munster Vales, I can adhere to that. So could you name the mountain ranges just to let people know?
So the Knockmealdowns, the Comeragh, the Galtees, the Ballyhouras and the Nagles.
Now that we're in post-COVID times, I mean, something I've seen, in trends in travel, everyone is talking now about going to places that are away from the crowds, outdoors, sustainable, and you cover all those things, don't you?
Absolutely. And in one sense, COVID was a bit of a blessing for Munster Vales because the people within this region really got out to explore and saw the wealth of things, the walks and the heritage that are within our locality and within walking distance. So it's been huge, and the staycation market has been great for us in the last few years as well, and we're getting repeat visitors back because there is such a myriad of things to do. And we've a wide range of itineraries available. So people are coming in to discover what's on offer here, kind of off the beaten track, safe, as you say, because we don't have the crowds. And it's just beautiful, untouched, natural heritage and scenery. So it's been great for us the last few years, people appreciating what we have.
I know, and that's the amazing thing in Ireland that, people, particularly after COVID times, there was the traditional tourist places were so busy and people were looking to go to somewhere, as you said, off the beaten track or discovering somewhere new. And it's amazing to have that even within Ireland, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there's so much. We recently launched a Trails of the Vales campaign. We launched it at the event in Cashel Palace. So that has over 120 listings on the map, and that is broken down into craft experiences and shops, gardens that you can visit, the different food offerings, the different heritage offerings. So there's so much to see and do for everyone, really, of all ages and all walks of life.
That's on your website. What is just to let people know if they want to see that?
So it's munstervales.com, and they'll find that under Trails of the Vales.
And you did that launch in the stunning setting a few weeks ago in the Cashel Palace. And at that, you also talked about sustainability. That was a big part of it, wasn't it? That's so important to this area and to you when you're promoting tourism, isn't it? Sustainable tourism is a very important thing.
Absolutely, so important. And it goes back to why Munster Vales was set up. It was to sustain the rural businesses that are in the tourism industry. And when you talk about sustainability, I suppose what comes to mind when you think of the tourism industry, when you go to hotels, you see them say, put the towels, back on the rack if you don't want them washed, and the water saving measures. And that's all great. And we absolutely endorse all of those measures. But more importantly for us, sustainability means sustaining jobs in rural areas. And we provide a lot of training to the businesses within this area so that they can upskill their staff. We're working towards moving staff from seasonal staff to permanent staff. And that's the kind of sustainability that we're more interested in, keeping the jobs alive, creating new job opportunities, supporting new businesses in whatever way we can in this kind of rural area, working with the local authorities and the local enterprise offices. Yeah, it's all about sustaining our natural environment and communities.
As you say, jobs all year. I mean, that's the thing about Munster Vales. There's so much on offer for every season, isn't there?
That's it. Absolutely. And just to give you an idea of some of the businesses that are open all year round. So we're extending the shoulder season, as they say in this industry. As you know, Fergal, we're trying to get the visitors coming, not just in the busy months of the year, but to keep the businesses open all year round. So Locker Pottery is based near Bruff in County Limerick, and that is a beautiful little workshop there. And they're going to be doing experiences as well, where people can go in and actually make pottery themselves, and they've stunning pottery on offer. Great Artitude is another shop in Doneraile in County Cork that has lovely pottery, and the Blackwater Valley Makers is a fantastic network of crafters that's based in Fermoy. So there's 16 businesses that have come together all in the craft space, and they've set up a shop and they all sell their products from this shop, and it's just a brilliant little community and shop, and it brings people from all over Ireland. So that's based in Fermoy in County Cork. And just in terms of gardens, then Doneraile Park and Gardens, it's absolutely stunning. There's over 400 acres there. There's a beautiful house. It's recently been renovated by the OPW. So now there's tours available of the first and the second floor, and it's completely accessible even on the second floor. So I think that's a first for the OPW. So that's a great draw now as well. And just in terms of the food offering, then it's massive. Like the food in this region is just fantastic. In terms of the food experiences, then like Cashel Blue there in Tipperary as well. You can go in and get a tour of the farm and taste the cheeses and see exactly where it's coming from.
Which is world famous now, isn't it?
It is absolutely all over the world. Yeah. Again, different little cafes and restaurants in Mitchelstown, Praline. It's a newly opened business, open 4 years. We've been supporting them from the start, and they're just going from strength to strength. The Thatch and Time restaurant in Kildallery, there's people coming from far and wide to try the food there, and it's all locally sourced, which is fantastic. And another cafe in Dunhill, Nivrian Cafe, again, all locally sourced produce and just beautiful food and a lovely dining experience, which is very important within Munster Vales as well, is getting the local story and meeting the local people and getting a feel for kind of the pace, the slower pace of life here, and just having that one-to-one experience, which visitors love. And it's those kind of memories that they take home with them and they tell their friends about, and they get kind of bragging rights, and they take home their piece of pottery or jewellery that was made, that they've spoke to the owner directly. So that's the feedback that we're getting from visitors, is that that's really special to them.
And every town has that. I mean, I know I'm based in Clonmel, the narrow space in Clonmel, which has local crafts people as well. They sell in the shops. So every town has that sort of offering now throughout the Munster Vales. It's a big part of the area, isn't it?
It is, and we're just trying to put it on the map, I suppose, because often these little shops, they're fantastic, but they don't get the airtime that the big, would say the Rocket Cashel and so on would get. So we're just trying to, I suppose, promote and support the small guys that are there too.
And you're saying about food, it's so famous, the Munster Vale, and it's part of that is the Golden Vale, and it's so famous for the produce around this area. And the restaurant offering now is quite amazing. Even, the launch was in the Cashel Palace there a few weeks ago, and I just saw yesterday actually the Michelin guides people had been in there. I think that was yesterday. They were tweeting about it, and I think that's got potential for that. And you've got other Michelin, you've got down in Ardmore the Michelin restaurant there, and it really is amazing now the food offering throughout the Munster Vale, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's improving all the time. There's new cafes and restaurants opening up and other businesses diversifying, and the quality is really second to none. We welcome a lot of kind of media, and we've got a lot of press trips over the last number of years, which has resulted in over €9 million worth of media coverage for the businesses in this region. And what every journalist or media personnel that has visited has commented on the food and the quality and the fact that it's locally sourced.
Exactly.
And the majority of the businesses within the region support local then as well. And that's going back to the sustainability side of things as well, cutting down on the air miles, and from literally going from farm to fork and keeping it all in the locale.
Yeah, and it's so famous, a place like the Apple Farm, as well. There's lots of places like that as well, isn't there? For people, mentioned Cashel Palace as well. So there's loads of places like that as well, isn't there, throughout the area?
There is, and there's a lot of immersive experiences then as well, where you can actually go in, like in the Apple Farm, go in, pick your own apples, pick your own strawberries. And that's a great experience, especially for children and the younger generation, so that they can really see, where exactly their food is coming from, and they've more respect for it then. So yeah, that's widespread across the region as well, which is great to be able to offer. And there's Blackwater Gin Distillery in Waterford offers on-site experiences as well. And I know Barron's Cafe in Cappoquin, you can organise tours there to see their bread making setup, and they're there for over 100 years. So it's a fantastic experience.
And even we're talking about food, and I saw an article the other day, it was like in the Irish Independent about restaurants that don't have a Michelin star but should, and there was loads of restaurants even around this area, including, like I said, the Tannery in Dungarvan was included in that list, and that whole town has got a great reputation now for food, hasn't it?
Oh, Dungarvan is just absolutely buzzing, and the food offering there is amazing. It's as good as any city, really. Everywhere is just doing really well and upping the standards. And like you said, in Cashel as well, there's more cafes after opening up there, and the opening of Cashel Palace is after kind of it has a domino effect, so that all the other shops in the town are doing better because of it. And yeah, it's great.
We'll go on to then the next activity then. When you talk about the mountains, the one I always think of about this area is for walking.
The walking really, I suppose, is the backbone of Munster Vales. There's over 80 waymarked walking trails throughout the region, and they're all listed on our website with interactive maps that give really practical information on the distances, where to park, the difficulty level, how long it would take. So I would urge your listeners to look that up, and they'll get more information on that. But there's something for everyone, really. There's short loop walks from 3 to 5 kilometres that are suitable for the smaller members of the family, and then the long distance walks, like the Ballyhoura Way, the Knockmealdown trails. The Ballyhoura Way, for example, is 89 kilometres, beautiful walking trail. All the loops there around Liam Lynch in the Knockmealdowns, the Nair Valley and the Comeraghs have just spectacular walking trails. Comeragh is just really after taking off in the last few years as well. There's so much to do. The Sure Blue Way, which has recently opened as well, 115 kilometre walk there. And I suppose our latest and greatest addition has been St. Declan's Way. So that's 115 kilometres of spectacular walking trails that stretch from Cashel to Ardmore. So it's the walking really it's phenomenal in this area. It's second to none.
St. Declan's Way has been getting a lot of press over the last year. Is that a 5-day walk? It can be done sort of over 5 days.
Yes.
From Cashel to Ardmore. It's got such great potential, doesn't it?
Oh, massive. And we've worked very closely with St. Declan's Way Committee. Yeah, it's only the beginning, and there's walkers coming. I actually live along the route of St. Declan's Way, And I meet walkers all the time coming from the north of Ireland, England, Scotland, all over Ireland. So it's heartening to see, because again, that was a community effort. So that potential was seen about 9 or 10 years ago, and that committee has worked tirelessly to get it to where it is today. So there's huge credit due to them. And it's fantastic to see it go from strength to strength already.
Another one you mentioned there was the Sure Blue Way. There was a great article talking about that last week in The Guardian, saying how great it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, there's new businesses after opening up on the back of that. Bike hire, kayak hire. So it's fantastic for the local economy as well as the visitors and the locals.
And we mentioned Dungarvan there. Obviously, the famous one now is the Greenway as well there. I mean, that's just growing from strength to strength, isn't it?
It is. It's incredible. Yeah, it's so popular.
For heritage then, obviously this area, starting with the Rock of Cashel, and then the Lismore and places like that. I mean, there really is amazing from a heritage point of view, isn't there, throughout this area?
Absolutely, it's phenomenal. And the Butler Trail that was developed in recent years as well, that people can see Clare Castle and Ormond Castle and Carrick-on-Suir and follow that trail around the area. And a few hidden gems as well. Labakelly Wedge Tomb, which is based outside Fermoy. It's a real hidden gem. So it's the largest wedge tomb in Ireland. And it's known as the Hag's Bed, because there's a story of this ancient goddess or ancient witch living there, and there's great stories around it. And there's other fantastic heritage sites as well down in Dunhill, which is a new area that has been recently added to Munster Vales. Lovely castles and walkways, and then of course the Copper Coast and the whole heritage with the mining there. There's great tours and a visitor centre there. It's absolutely just brimming with history and heritage and great stories. And there's great offerings and tours available, and there's great guided tours available throughout the Munster Vales as well that are listed on our website, where people can really just find out more of those fantastic stories.
And there's the old folklore and things like that, like Moncombe again, he's a book that's just recently come out, and he talks all about Lochgar as well in that, and the history around there. And there's, it's quite amazing. I mean, it goes back for thousands of years.
Thousands of years. The story around Lochgar is absolutely mind-blowing. I would encourage all of your listeners to try and get there at some stage. There's such a great offering there between the Grange Stone Circle, and there's a fantastic visitor centre. There's a lake, there's a cafe on site, a playground. They've done massive work over the last number of years. But it's the story really behind it all is what will get you.
So then just adventure again, where I actually had another guest in my podcast, and he is a climber, one of the top rock climbers in the world, and he's Belgian, but like Sean O'Driscoll is his name, but I think he's an Irish mother. And he talked about the Comeraghs, or climbing in the Comeraghs, and said they were world class, as good as anywhere in the world. So for this area, again, with the mountains and with cycling and things like that, there's so much from an adventure holiday point of view, isn't there?
There is. It really is a great holiday destination for those who want the exhilarating adventure buzz and the rush. So starting in Ballyhoura Lakes, which is based down outside Mallow, there's a fantastic site there, and again built up from nothing over the last number of years. They have wakeboarding there, kayaking, zip lining, rock climbing, axe throwing, which is a new craze, but it's after really taking off. People love it. And what they have open water swimming, and they have a sauna on site there. It's just an absolutely fantastic site for people of all ages, from 6 years upwards. There's something for everyone. It's brilliant. And also in the Ballyhoura region, then there's the mountain biking that's available there. So the network of trails has recently been redeveloped, and there's been huge money pumped into upgrading all the systems and the trails and the site. So it's brilliant. It's attracting people in from all over, and it's just a fantastic amenity to have for the locals, and bringing in visitors from all over the country and the world.
Ballyhoura is quite amazing, isn't it? That cycling there, and it's for all standards, from beginner to expert.
Yes, absolutely. I did it as a complete beginner 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Myself and a group of friends who'd never done it before went off for an afternoon, rented the bikes on site, and it was just the best fun. We still laugh over it. So it really is suitable for everyone.
that's something I see growing over the next few years. I know even yesterday, the Nar Valley drop, and up in the Comeragh, they've trails as well. And so I think that's the thing that's going to really grow, that the mountain biking in the mountains.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a great use of the mountains as well, then when it's done correctly, of course. Yeah, it's brilliant to have it, and just to see people out enjoying it in all weathers, it's fantastic. And then on the Copper Coast, there's a brilliant surf school there as well for anyone who's interested in surfing. So it's great that Munster Vales has that offering of the coast as well, and the water and the beaches. And as well, we have a great horse riding available across Munster Vales, in the Ballyhouras, and there's some in Care and in Tipperary town over the Galtee mountains. So that's a fantastic activity to do as well, and a great way to take in the scenery and the mountains as you're doing the horse riding.
Yeah, it's true, actually. And again, this area with Coolmore and Ballydoyle is so famous with horse racing and thoroughbred racing. There's the great museum in Fethard, isn't there? The horse museum in Fethard. So that's another area that this area is so well known for.
Yes, absolutely. There's a big draw with the horses, and now with the Hotel Malilla doing so well with the horses as well, it's bringing in kind of a different market, I suppose, which is great.
That's the great thing. There's festivals on all year, really, isn't there, around the Munster Vales?
There is, absolutely. And you spoke about the Nair Valley Drop. So that was a great success, and the Ballyhoura Walking Festival, which took place at the start of October. So again, pushing out into the shoulder seasons. And the West Waterford Food Festival is huge as well. It's a full weekend, and it draws in massive crowds. The Imrama Festival that takes place in Lismore over the summer months as well, which is all about the arts and performance. That's a great one. And the Clonmel Junction Festival and the Apple Fest, there really is so much and varying from like exhilarating rush from the Nair Valley Drop to kind of the real artsy Junction Festival. So there's something for everyone.
Exactly. And I think a great trip, I do it myself when I'm abroad, is to always check what's on in the area, like check your website, because, if you can catch a local festival, you really get a feel, like just say like the Apple Fest was recently on in Clonmel, you get a real feel for the town and its history and its culture if you can catch a festival. You
do, and meeting the locals, there's nothing like it, and being in the thick of it for something really local like that, like a festival, is great.
Exactly, and those walking festivals as well, they're brilliant because you get to go up on routes and you're with locals, so you're brought on the routes, but also get to talk to people. So they're ones to really look out for, those walking festivals around the area.
And you get the real local stories then, and you're brought back then and given a cup of tea and the real Irish, Céad Míle Fáilte.
Exactly, around Atterlow and places like that as well,
Yes, the Galtee Walking Festival, it was a huge success over a number of years.
So itineraries, so just to give people, if people were thinking about this area to go to, and like they had a couple of days, maybe if you could give us maybe just a couple of different ideas of itineraries, just as samples. I mean, there's so much to do in this area, and it really depends, but maybe just if you give us a couple of ideas.
Yeah, no problem. So we'll say if we have a group coming to the Feathered area and if they're into culture and they really want to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the area and do kind of something different, so they could go to the Feathered Horse Country experience and they could go to the museum there and get a tour of that. And during the summer months, I know that Coolmore do offer tours as well of the stud. So that will be a very memorable experience. And then they could eat either in Duke's, in Feathers, really fine dining, great food there, or Emily's Cafe. And then they could stay in the hotels in Clonmel if they wished, the New Talbot Hotel or the Manila or Raheen House. And then on their day 2, they could visit Care Castle and Swiss Cottage. Fantastic heritage sites there. They could take a visit to the apple farm and pick some apples or strawberries and pick up some jams or juices to take home with them. And then they could eat in Lava Rock restaurant, then is a great one in Care, really high quality food. What could they do? They could go for a walk then in the Galtee Mountains, or go to Glengara walking trail and do a trail there. Or they could visit, if they were into food, they could visit Galtee Honey Farm, and Aoife there shows them the bees and how they produce the honey and tells the story of their honey farm. So that would be one option for the culturally curious market. And then for someone who would be into the adventures, then they could go horse riding in the Ballyhouras, and then they could go for lunch in Cafe Townhouse in Doneraile, and then visit the Doneraile Park and Gardens and get a tour there. Then if they were staying overnight, then they could stay in Springford Hall, which is a local hotel nearby, or in the Hibernian Hotel in Mallow. And then on day 2, if they were into adventure, they could go to Ballyhass Adventure, and the team there would put a package together for them to suit their needs, be it wakeboarding, kayaking, zip lining, you name it, they have it there, and they could eat on site there. They have a great cafe on site, so they could spend a full day then there if they wished. And then if they wanted to continue on and do some more adventure, they could go up to Lismore the following day and do the escape room, which is based in Lismore Heritage Centre. So that's a great one. It's a great one for a group or a family as well, because you're trying to get out of the room within the hour and crack the clues. So there's great tension in the room then when you're trying to get out. So that's another great offering. Then there's the food trail. If we had foodies then coming, they could go to Cashel Blue Cheese and do the tour there. And then they could eat in and stay in Longville House, which is in Mallow in County Cork as well. So they do a lot. They grow all of their food on site as well. And they do fantastic dining experience. And you can rent out the cottages there if you had a group. So then, sticking with the food trail, then they could visit Ballyhoura Apple Farm the following day and see how the apple juice is made. And again, it's award-winning apple juice, and it's a great experience. And again, you get to meet the locals and hear that story. And then they could eat in Molly's restaurant then in Kilfinnan. If they were staying overnight, then Ballyhoura Mountain Lodges is there in Kilfinnan as well. And you're really based in the mountains, and it's a great experience, and you're really well looked after there. The following day, then they could go to Dungarvan Brewing Company and see how the beers are made and have a beer tasting. That's a great experience on site for a group as well. And then they could eat in the tannery. And then in the afternoon, they could go to the Blackwater Distillery and get that experience then as well if they wished. You could go for the relaxing breaks then as well, and go to different sites like Comeragh House and do the tour there and have a leisurely afternoon, maybe go for a walk or a cycle on the Greenway, or visit Lismore Castle then if they were into the heritage. So there's something for everyone. There's over 20 itineraries on our website, ranging from a day trip up to 5 days. And it gives you all the information that you need then as to where to stay, where to eat. It plans your day for you. So it's a handy one.
I saw a line, it said, talking about the Munster Vales, and it said, it is adventure and slow. And that kind of shows that they are from the sea to the mountains. And it really does cover everything, doesn't it? Munster Vales, when you talk about those itineraries, like there's so much variety there.
There's so much variety, and it is a great destination if you wanted to try a bit of everything, like dip your toe into everything, have like a jam-packed morning of adventure, and then slow it down for the afternoon, take it easy, have a food experience, have a nice long leisurely lunch, go for a stroll by the River Shore or whatever it may be. There's something for everyone.
Exactly. So there's my last question that I ask everyone, and yours is going to be slightly different. It is, if you close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths and think of your happy place in the Munster Vales, where would that be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose I grew up in the Ballyhoura region, so my happy place when I was younger and living down there would have been Lochgar, like we spoke about. I just love to go there and just switch off, climb up to the top of the hill there, and you could just be anywhere. It was so peaceful. But now that I'm living in Newcastle near Clonmel, my happy place would be Carey's Castle. Do you know that walk there? So there's a quiet walk, kind of there's the walk around the castle, or there's a walk up behind it by the stream. So I love to go up there often on a Sunday afternoon when I get a bit of time out from the kids and the crazy home life, and just go up there and just chill out and tune out. And it's so peaceful, and the scenery is just spectacular. And if you meet people along the way, you always have a nice chat, or I would recommend it to anyone who's coming to the area. It really is such a really special spot. So it really is a beautiful, very special place to live and to visit.
Exactly. So thank you so much for doing that podcast.
Thank you very much, Fergal. It's been great.
Thanks again, Triona, for bringing this most beautiful part of Ireland alive for my listeners. So do check the Munster Vales website, munstervales.com, for all the information that you would need about this great area. Check out my Instagram also, Travel Tales with Fergal, where I have great photos from this area, radio interviews I did, and also articles about this area that I've written. So check that out. I have another great destination special coming up very soon, so keep an eye out for that also. Safe travels and take care.
Travel Tales with Fergal.